Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to RSF1 Round 1 here at Albert Park in Australia. This is the Xbox One Tier 1 grid. We are getting ready to go underway here. This is the third season of RSF1, which started back in June 2019, and we're going to have a very exciting race for you today. Albert Park then, 3.295 miles, 16 turns, turn 13 in the action zone coming off of DRS, and last year we saw some incidents here as we had a 3-car pile-up coming out of the exit there. Of course, 3 DRS zones, one after the chicane of turn 11 and 12, one towards the end of the lap, and one start-finish straight, and yeah. I'm your commentator for today, your lead commentator, Cian Butler, and this is our grid for the race, the roster rather, for the season. You can see we have one reserve and some very good names there, strong teams that are going to be fighting for positions and points out there today. So as we set out for this wonderful day, it's a sunny day, not reflected by the overcast pre-warm-up commentary you see there, but we're about to get into it with 7 minutes left in qualifying. Alright then, so we're going to go on board with some of the drivers that are starting to go out. We're going to go on board with that laggy person who's starting a lap. On board now with a camera. See 5th gear there through turn 1, turn 2. DRS open right off the bat. Currently P4 with a 120.0. He's got about 3 attempts to find on Polestar and Master Berserk. Currently with a 119.6. So far, Sector 1 looking alright, but we have a yellow Sector 3. Hopefully that won't impact his lap. Coming towards the end of Sector 1 now, what's it going to be? It's going to be a 26.465, which is... and there we go, he's invalidated his lap already coming out of the exit there, so it's going to be backing off. We're going to go on board then with... Well, let's have a look and see who else is there. I believe that... Yeah, Master Berserk will be coming in. He's currently the pole sitter in the Racing Point. Looking good, looking strong so far this season. Who do we have on an outlap? We have Zombie Hunter, who's coming through the last sector, so he'll be worth staying on board with. Yellow flag, Sector 1. Not sure if that's somebody entering the pits or what's happening there, but it's one of the Hasses. So we go on board now with Zombie Hunter. P6, an AOR Tier 2 driver in years past, taking his step into RSF1. A lot of these drivers we've seen around in some of the other leagues. Some history, some new faces in the fight as well. And it's going to be quite an interesting season we have up ahead. Apologies. I did just realize that the game audio was off. This is, of course, the first time that I'm casting RSF1, and we had to do some last-minute setup stuff to get everything working properly. So there may be 1 or 2 kinks throughout the stream, but I can assure you that the quality will just improve as time goes on, as we are on board now in Sector 2 with Zombie Hunter still. 5 minutes remaining in qualifying. Sector 1 here. A lot of yellow flags popping up as Zombie goes purple in Sector 2 by 2 tenths. This is looking like a banger of a lap so far. If he can hold it together for the rest of the lap, he does have a strong chance of putting it towards pole. Currently 2 tenths faster than he was prior, and 19.9 is where he's on track for right now as RBR joins the session. I'm not too sure why. We know he's the reserve driver, as Zombie's invalidated the lap, so he's coming in, getting ready to reset for, for his laps later on. We go on board with the Renault driver of Geordie JL23, who will be looking to set up for a lap starting soon. We have a spun Alfa Romeo, and I believe that was Brazuca. As we have the Renault driver that we were just on board with. Oh, sorry, RBR 9709 in the other Pink Panther for today. Currently sitting in 8th place, so at some point then he will have disconnected and reconnected. We are going to continue to rebalance the audio a little bit. But yeah. Drivers such as Is That Matt getting ready for that lap once again, so 3 minutes remaining qualifying. Is That Matt is getting ready to start a lap. We're going to go on board with him as we cross the line to start. He does have some traffic up ahead. Hopefully that won't get in the way, as he takes a little bit Not enough curb there to really maximize that lap so far, but we'll see. He's got the Red Bull of that laggy person out ahead, and also one of the Hasses. I can't quite make out which one that is at this point, but we're going to find out as, what was that, one of the racing points there, and he is just completely going to lose this lap to being stuck behind Penske and that laggy person. You think that they want to get out of the way a little bit earlier than that. Definitely not ideal, as taking a lot of curb there. He is still trying to push. Is that Matt currently probably in the best position past P8? Obviously, you get free choice of strategy towards the back of the pack, P11 down, so if you can take P11 rather than P10, that tends to be a win. Although, however, he will be wanting to start as far up the grid as possible, as turn 1 and 2 at Albert Park tend to have some issues to them. As a couple of drivers retire, Orphan and JB Hi-Fi. JB Hi-Fi retiring on the track as well. That could have caused a lot more issues than it did, as Matt crosses the line, only improves by half a tenth to P10. Going on board then with Zach across the line for what appears to have been an outlap. Very nice curbing there, takes the car right out to the yellow line. Laggy person spun in turn 1, so I'm not sure what's happening there. Zach currently on the front row, second position, but only by about 0.02 of a second, so he will be looking to improve on that and try and close the gap to Master Berserk, who is a very comfortable 0.3 ahead of the rest of the field right now. I gotta say, the traffic is kind of crazy right now. As he continues to close up now on Brazuca. Brazuca's gonna have to get out the way, but he's not moving yet. There we go, he's pulled off to the side. Good line through the chicane. Yellow flag, sector 1, 2, and 3, so drive is slow all about the place. Running a bit low on fuel is Zach. If he can make it to the line, this is looking to be a good lap so far. This lap definitely has potential, and it will be his last chance to set a proper lap here in qualifying, as only 1 minute remains in the session. See what he can go a little bit wide there. Still valid. And he does not improve. 0.2 slower, only a 1:20.2. We definitely got held up by some traffic there, as Master Berserk's retired from the session, so a 19.6 is going to be the benchmark. Penske goes P2. So very impressive run there from Penske to nab the second position on the grid. Looking throughout the field for who's on laps. Zombie, I think Zombie's in low fuel mode after a lap. P7, good. We're on board then with... That was interesting. We're on board then with RBR 9709, a driver who showed quite a lot of pace in previous years. Took a bit of break from league racing in... took a bit of a break from league racing to focus on some real-life commitments, and I'm not sure if that's a bit of lag that's happening right now. I'm not sure if that's everywhere or if it's just on RBR. Looks like it's just on RBR. As RBR low on fuel, so that will be his run done then. Let's see if we can't find someone on a lap. I believe Matt Mason's on a lap here. Sorry for butchering that a little bit. So we will see what he can do. Oh, sorry, that is invalid. Looking around, Oz Formula is on a lap. Pushing hard. In the Ferrari, the rain started coming out, so I doubt there'll be much improvement. As Penske's just in the middle of that sector. And a 5-place grid penalty for Oz Formula for a collision with Penske. I don't think they really had much of a chance to do otherwise. That AI car was just in a really difficult position, but Penske then already maybe causing a few issues. I'm not quite sure what the rule is against or around retiring on track. You'd think there'd be something against it. Not quite sure what the weather is. Whether it will clear up for the race or whether it will be a wet race. If it's a wet race, that's going to be crazy. I know some of these guys from AOR. Yep, a lot of these drivers have made the transition from AOR this season. Master Berserk, that laggy person, Penske, who was DJRT P17, Zombie Hunter, former Tier 2 driver, Palms for the win, RBR 9709 is that match, Brazuca, Savory Mince Pie, are all drivers that have made the transition from AOR to RSF1 this season. Not quite sure what we're waiting for. As Geordie JL23 is retired, and that will be your grid then for today. We'll have a chance to quickly have a gander through it. So then, it's taking P1 is Master Berserk in the Racing Point. P2, Penske. P3 is Zach JW22. Osweiler with a 5-place grid penalty for collision with Penske that we saw might have had some real issues there. That really, I don't know. I don't think that was about right, but yeah. Rounding out the top 5 is Laggy Person. Then we go Mason, Zombie Hunter, RBR 9709, Palms for the win. Is that Matt? Rounding out your top 10. And we'll get a quick glance further down the field, but we won't have a chance to go all the way through it. But that is your grid as we get ready for the race now. This should be interesting. So a dry race then for the start at least. We are going to have a chance to have a bit of a look around. See what the strategies are. I believe most drivers will have qualified on the softs, at least in the top 10. Not much of an opportunity to do otherwise. Oh well. So we wait for the start of the race. Session starts in 28 seconds, so that is showing then that we have, well, that we have people readying up now. Some of these drivers, such as Young Gun 97 and Zach JW22, along with Laggy Person and Death Bro, not racing today, but he's another one. They will be racing in the Elite Series on Sunday. That will be a good watch as well. As the session gets ready to start for the formation lap, then here we go. This is your grid. So in P1 we have Master Berserk, P2 Penske, P3 Zach, P4 Laggy Person, P5 Mason, P6 Zombie, P7 RBR, P7 Palms for the win, P8 or P9 Oz Formula. After that 5-plus grip penalty, as you can see, we're looking at a 1-stop soft to hards or a 2-stop, 2 stints on the softs and 1 on the medium. Now, there could be murmurs of the grid penalty for Oz Formula being taken away, but there's really not much that can be done about that in the race. It's just one of those things that will end up, I'm not sure. You can't really affect it in any way from here. Yeah. Moving on, we have Is That Madam P10. We were talking about P10 potentially being a disadvantageous position, as it is the last place on the grid where you don't have a free choice of time. Saying that, P11 is Geordie JLW, joined on the 6th row. No, sorry. Qualifying just ahead of his teammate, of Wilberforce 24. Youngin 97, also known as Quicksilver, in P13 in the Alfa Romeo. Mitcho 100 and P14. Kart Racer P15. Brazuca P16. Jamie P17. Savory Mince Pie P18. Orphan Drop 8 P19. And JB Fi High P20. The McLaren JB Fi High will have to start speeding up. Otherwise, there could be some sort of mitigation here, as he is quite a far way behind the rest of the field right now. Predicted 1-stop strategy for JB Fi High then. or any of the drivers starting the mediums can go straight from mediums to hard. You can also go soft to hard or hard to medium towards the end, hard to soft. So a plethora of strategies available then as we go on board with JB Fly High as he closes up to the line. And we're getting ready to go underway then. We're going to be on board with Palms for the win off the start. And it's lights out and away we go. It's a good start then from Penske, who immediately manages to get past, oh, what the hell? And, whew! That's Zombie Hunter who's gone sideways then, and a virtual safety car right off the bat. I'm not sure what happened there. Are we looking at a restart potentially? Not too sure. Crazy start then from off the line. Your new leader is Penske. Penske managing to get the jump off the line. Everything's kind of a bit mucked about right now in terms of intervals. Let's see if it can reset itself. Yep, the intervals have gone a bit crazy. See if we can reset that. I think that's right. Alright then, yep, so we have Penske in the lead after turn 1. P2 we have Zach, P3 we have Master Berserk, P4 as we're underway, Laggy Person, we're going to go on board with him as we look at the battle towards the front, potentially being something. Back, Ozformula back past Mason now, as these two go too wide, Mason and Wilbur, the Renault. Good move there from Wilbur, gets him by. A little bit of action further down the pack. Staying on board with Mason, he gets passed by Young Gun now. So he is looking to pit. He has wing damage then. We're going to go back on board then with that Laggy Person, who is sitting stationed right now behind Master Berserk. A little bit of train developing. We have some drivers in the pits. Mason, Pumps for the Win, and Zombie Hunter, who have all had issues. RBR needs to drop back as an AI. So Young Gun then, a very good start off the bat into P8, along with Brazuka, P9. Ozformula manages to slice his way through the field very well at the start there, recovering from that 5th-place grid drop to P5 right off the bat. As we have a yellow flag Sector 1, as it looks like one of the Hasses is spun. That is Orphan Drop. Not quite sure what's happened there. But we're going to go back on board then with Ozformula, who continues to try and close that gap up to that Laggy Person up ahead. Gaps are kind of stabilized a bit throughout the field as Young Gun then, something's happened to him. What's happened? Oh, and he's spun out of turn 12. We'll get another look at that as we pass by with Orphan, who himself runs quite deep. And is at risk of doing exactly the same thing. Alright then. That's interesting. Well, back on board then for what appears to be a safety car. I'm not sure. Did that look like a spin? Did that look intentional? We don't know. We don't know. But that is a safety car period. Then right off the bat, we could see some drivers coming in for hards, trying to get a bit of a jump, as we see exactly that with Severi Mince-Pie, who takes a set of mediums then. So he'll likely have to stop again at some point during this race. Depends on how long the safety car stays out. Is that Matt also on the mediums then? Zombie, this will play well for him. He started towards the front, and this is going to give him an opportunity to close back up to the front runners. But yes, then a safety car. 3 laps in, we've already had a virtual safety car, and we've seen ourselves a full course yellow safety car now. yeah, I'm really not sure what to make of this so far. It's been an interesting race, no doubt, but we haven't really had room to breathe. I think Penske has some good pace, but we saw our pole sitter. Who was it again? That was Master Berserk. Our pole sitter on P3 definitely has potential to push forward as he comes in now for an early stop along with Zach. So Penske's going to stay out. These two, I imagine, would be going to hards. We'll have a look. Mediums and the hards go on then for Master Berserk, so likely the best strategy that he could take during this full course portion, as the medium runners, I doubt they can make it all the way to the end. They're most likely betting on another safety car. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out with Penske. He's out there all alone in the lead. Not all alone, he has the cars behind, but he does seem to have better pace than the people directly around him. It'll now come down to how much he can push on those softs compared to how much Zach, that laggy person, and Master Berserk held up. In fact, all three of these drivers could be in for a chance to win now, depending on how the rest of the race plays out. We see some drivers start weaving. We might get a safety car in this lap, but we don't know yet. As we'll take a chance to have a look at position changes. So Penske's made it one position. Geordie up 9 right now. Brazuca in P3 with 13 positions gained. Jamie with 13 positions gained. A lot of positions lost towards the back of the grid, which was about where I guess those are the individuals that got caught up in that turn 1 incident. I don't think the safety car is in this lap. We're gonna pull up the track map. It's still out right now. So the top 6 then, all the drivers who have made a stop already. Zach J has not yet, or has. He is the first driver in the queue to have made the stop. So he is arguably in one of the best positions to take advantage of the safety car. However, being on the medium tires, he's almost guaranteed to have to take another stop at some point. Continue on in this full course safety car. A queue quite splendid behind. We race. We're getting ready then. Likely to restart on this lap. I believe most of the wreckage has been cleared from the 2 drivers that crashed. You can see drivers warming up their tires, so they obviously are thinking the same thing. It'll be interesting to see, I believe, what tires are these guys on. Kart Racer is on the mediums. Mitcho is on the mediums. Jamie's on the mediums. Safety car in this lap. Brazuca is on the softs. Geordie is on the mediums, and Penske's on the softs. So, we'll likely, as is that Matt gets a 5-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flags. That's interesting. Gonna go on board with that laggy person. Should be a good vantage point as him and Zach try and cut their way through the field on the freshest tires. We'll leave the tire graphic up to give you a chance to see how all the drivers are doing on tires, and we'll run the telemetry on board to have a look at the jump, see when people are using overtake. As it looks like they've jumped now, and we're back on the way. Laggy person, and we've already had a quick flash of the yellow flag. doesn't look like anything's really staying too tricky on track, as a good turn 1 from that laggy person. I'm going to keep staying on board with him. Doesn't look like we're having too much going on around the track just yet. All pretty stable so far. To come to the end of Sector 1. Penske's trying to break away. Yellow flag Sector 1. And one of the Williams is spun. That's Mason. And he's retired from the session. So I'm not sure whether that is full retirement from a crash or if it's retirement for other reasons. But that Williams is still making its way slowly around the track to find a good point to retire. So far then, nothing too much seems to be developing, although back here, Ozformula gets past Wilberforce. Good move there from the Ferrari driver, currently occupying Sebastian Vettel's car. And that'll be a move into the points for Ozformula. Another one of the drivers who have taken fresh tyres, as a few drivers now on 0-lap old tyres, apparently. Let's see how that develops. Going on board with Zach, who's looking for a move up the inside of Kart Racer in turn 1. This could get dangerous. Good move there by Kart Racer to try and defend. Maybe a little bit tight on the apex. That's going to give Zach now a second chance as we bring the telemetry up. No overtake for him just yet. But he's going to hold through the inside. A little bit of a touchdown's going to open the door there for Laggy Person. And a spin there for the Williams driver. Just got caught up there a little bit too much. Resets the track and continues on his way. Unfortunate there for Kart Racer. Another casualty in what has been a very crazy race so far, to be honest. Gonna go on board with Savory Mince Pie as he begins closing up on JB Fihai. Looking for a move potentially to turn 11. Ducks into the slipstream. Around the outside he goes. JB Fihai gets a good lunge there, but that could give Savory Mince Pie a lunge, but somehow JB Fihai gets a better run at the corner and is going to defend the position for the time being. Very smart plays there from Savory Mince Pie, who actually himself gets passed by Zombie Hunter, and that's a spin there for Savory Mince Pie in the Toro Rosso, in the AlphaTauri, sorry. Looking to get back on track. Commentators to curse, you gotta love it. On board then with Ozformula, who continues his charge back up the field after a potentially misplaced grid penalty. Actually, on board with Brazuca will go. Because where he comes out, nobody knows. Only 3/10 behind the Renault driver of Geordie. On the softs. On old softs, mind you. This looks quite interesting. We also have that Laggy person right behind Mitcho. He could be looking for a move. Remember, Laggy pitted for the new mediums, and he's too wide then with Ozformula. A good move there from Ozformula. And a spin from the McLaren driver up ahead. Mitcho retires. Another unfortunate retirement. Oh, not yet, actually. Sorry. He's only lost his front wing. But an unfortunate there spin for Mitcho. That's not going to work for his race at all. Ozformula then. He's made another position. I'm not sure how that happened, but he's ahead of Master Berserk now. P6 from P10 only a few laps ago. Some brilliant driving then from the Australian driver. Things looking to have calmed down a little bit now. As we see, the pit is open then for the one-stop strategy with the mediums. Another 3-second time penalty for Jamie. Zombie Hunter gets past JB Fihai now. Disable the telemetry. Clear up a little bit of space on the field, on the grid, on the screen. That's the word I'm going for. Brazuca. 2/10 then behind Geordie. Might be looking for a move. Not quite yet though. JB Fihai gets another 3-second time penalty. Through a chicane. Could look for a lunge up here on the Renault driver. I was expecting Penske to pull away a little bit more. He seemed to have some really strong early pace off that launch, but so far, he's failing to do that a bit. Jordy will not have DRS. Bazooka will. Zach gets past Jamie. Not sure what happened there. Master Berserk gets back past Oz Formula. We're going to stay on board with that laggy person behind this battle then. Bring the telemetry back up. As Oz Formula goes for the pit, he's looking to get out of dirty air a little bit then, so we'll quickly check. I think that's for... So Oz Formula is going for the hards then now. Interesting. So Oz Formula will be pitting now to try and take the hards at the end of the race. That's something that initially I thought a lot of the drivers around here. Bazooka spun! The driver who's been having a good day so far up in P3 behind the runner driver. Not sure what happened there, but he has spun, as you saw there on the left-hand side of your screen as we drove past with that laggy person. There was an Alfa Romeo turned around. Master Berserk currently doing a really good job of holding onto this train. This is really important. Berserk effectively has a chance for the race lead here. If he can massage those hard tires that he's on right now, and as I say that, he gets a 3-second time penalty. If he can massage those hard tires he's on and take them to the end of the race, as long as he can defend against the drivers that will be looking to do a 2-stop here, he becomes a real candidate for the win. Master Berserk in the BWT Racing Point. I almost said Force India. It didn't though, so pat on the back. Some interesting stuff happening behind. Zombie Hunter right on the back of Wilbur. He could be looking for a move through the second section on the run down to turn 3. Overtaking DRS on. Are we going to see it? Down the inside goes Zombie Hunter, recovering from what was a really bad crash at the start. Wilbur's going to try and make a move back, but Zombie holds the position in that Mercedes-Benz. And that's going to be him up in the P7. Master Berserk then aiming to close up, and as he achieves P7, Zombie gets a 3-second time penalty. Master Berserk is looking to close up on the driver ahead. Jamie on the same mediums that he started the race. Berserk on the fresher hards that he got during the safety car period. Can he make something happen here? Not quite. He is closing in though, only 2 tenths behind. One of the other drivers that are really pegged for a good spot here is Zach. Zach is doing a really good job up the front. As I say that, he takes the lead from Penske as Penske pits. So Penske is in the pits. Zach is on the mediums. He got these mediums during the safety car period. This could be interesting. We'll see where Penske comes out compared to the rest of the field. As he continues his way out. Here we go. So Penske's come out in P14 after that pit. He's on hards now that will try and take him to the end of the race. Zach has got to decide now if he wants to respond or if he wants to wait for a potential safety car to help him out here. On board with that laggy person who will be holding position behind Master Berserk for the time being, just outside of the podium. I think he'll be enjoying just sitting behind this driver. He knows Berserk is quick. I know Berserk is quick. So taking the opportunity to sit behind a quick driver, close up on the drivers ahead, and build up some ERS, that's going to be really advantageous towards the end of the race. The one thing that could be hurting him is the medium tires. You can see he's on an overtake. He could have made the overtake there pretty well. as we have a yellow sector free. Not too sure what's happened. Can't see anything visibly on the map. Likely just Brazuca entering the pit. Says Brazuca gets a 5-second time penalty. Speeding into the pit, so his day has gone from bad to worse. We're on board then if you're joining us just now with that laggy person for round 1 of the Race Spec F1 Esports series, specifically top tier, tier 1. That laggy person has already made 1 stop, but will likely have to make another stop. Same goes for Zach. Henske was in the race lead until he made his pit stop, and there's a nice little bit of fresh air behind is that Matt right now. So he's not one to count out if a lot of other drivers have to make a second stop. The only driver who looks like he doesn't have to right now is Master Berserk, but that's going to be very important for him then to cut his way through the field into P2 past Jordy to try and decrease the effect that the dirty air will have on his tire wear, because he did take those mediums or those hards on lap 3, and as I say that, Jordy enters the pits. So Master Berserk then has some clear air behind him. Master Berserk will be trying to follow him through. Your top 3 right now are Zach J, Master Berserk, and that laggy person. We have some other drivers pitting in once again. Those, of course, being RBR and Jordy. 3 retirements so far in this race. A little bit further back, we have JB High, who's made the move on Palms for the win. Palms could try and come back here. We have a little bit of a train going on, so we're going to stay on board with these guys and see if something happens. Midfield battles tend to be pretty exciting because where the front of the pack tend to be extracting a lot more out of the car in general. There's a lunge up the inside for Kart Racer. Sees him spin again! That's the second time the Williams driver has spun this race. And he's going to be having to execute a 3-point turn there, reset the track, and back down to P11. It is just not this man's day today. That's the second time he's spun. Back on board with Thomas for the win. Just behind JB High. High also one of those drivers that was looking strong early in the race and then had to spin. I might be wrong, that might be his McLaren teammate that had that spin, but I know one of the McLarens had to spin. 3-second time penalty for that laggy person, presumably through turn 1. Things are looking a little bit calm right now. Kart Racer has gone to the pits to, I presume, fit a new set of tires and replace that front wing. JB High looking in a bit of a sorted way. Let's have a look at where the tires are once again. So High has been on those tires since lap 1, those mediums. The hards should be in a better spot than right now. So we'll see how Palms for the win is able to close the gap to High and pass. We'll likely see something happen as the action zone at turn 13, but he could go for something a bit earlier. He goes down the inside of JB High into the chicane. High's going to hold it around the outside. That lets That Matt close up just behind, and these two drivers could try and make a move past Palms for the win then. High moves to the inside. Late defense there from Palms, or attack there from Palms. Sees him go wide. That Matt gets past Palms for the win, and now it's his turn to try and attack the McLaren driver up ahead. So an interesting set of moves right there. High still having issues. That Matt goes into pit, so he's looking to not have to worry about... the drivers behind. Palms for the win stays out. That Matt is going to serve his 5-second time penalty, I presume, for speeding in the pits. And out he comes. Things are looking a little bit spread out. Strategy so far has been quite something. You can see a lot of drivers have only made one stop so far. Jamie's not made any stops, apparently. This could get interesting towards the end. Let's have a look at the gaps to the leader. So everyone behind Wilbur is a pit stop behind the leader, Zach. So we're likely going to see a good set of pit stops once again. The current race leader is Zach JW22. He is leading the race on a set of mediums that he put on lap 3. The tires right now are 14 laps old. You can see them starting to ache a little bit. He comes through the corners, runs wide, having a few lockups here and there. Battle for P7. P8. Something's happened to Poms. He's lost 2 positions then. Penske making a move, making his way up the field. On board with Poms as he tries to close up the gap once again to Fi High. Fi High acting as a bit of a cork in a bottle then for Poms. He's really wanting to try and make a move past, but he just hasn't been able to make something happen. We'll see if Penske on some fresher, hard tires can make something happen. A little bit of oversteer there on corner exit there for JB Fi High. We've seen a couple of moves on Fi High here. Penske is going to play it a bit safer, drop in behind, and try and maximize the DRS zone up ahead. DRS and overtake open. Should be a pretty textbook pass. Fi High is going to make a late switch, much like he did for Poms. Penske's not going to like that. We know Penske's a vocal driver. We know that he often says a few words too many. So I can imagine that he won't be too happy with Fi High right now as he looks for a move in turn 1. Fi High is going to leave turn, or take the inside line, slot him behind, and that's a pretty textbook pass there from Penske. Poms is still stuck behind JB Fi High then, for the time being. Just over 10 laps to go then in this race. It's been an interesting one so far. Yellow flag sector 3. It's another driver hitting. It'll be interesting to see if Zach... Actually, is that another driver pitting? No. So Mitchell's done something then. I think he spun on the last corner and just had issues of his own. Oz Formula back into the points then. And Poms will win finally, just as we get off that battle. Looking to have gotten past JB Fi High. Can he retaliate? In fact, he's got Oz Formula. This is a full pack that's come now. 2 wide in the corner, much like what we saw last year. Oz Formula gets past JB Fi High. It's now Geordie's turn to try and get past. He is on tires that he will have pitted for. Oz Formula looking for a move on Poms for the win. Driver who's seen bursts of pace today and seemingly deserves to be in the top 10. He is pushing, seeing what he can do. He should have an opportunity for a move here, but his ERS is running quite low. He's going to use up all of his overtake here. Poms for the win is going to do much the same, and we're not going to see anything really develop here. However, behind we have Geordie now getting past JB Fi High, and by word, I think that if Oz Formula can't get past Poms for the win here, we're going to have a 3-way battle for P7. On board then with Oz Formula. He comes around the corner. He's got to switch to the inside of the chicane. Looking for a move. Oh, he's held it together. He's held it together. He's still looking to get past Poms to win. Going to turn 11. Can he do it? He slots back in behind. Does he? Looking for a better run. He might have it. DRS open. Overtake on, but he's out of energy. Poms can put up a fight here if he wants to. And he is. He takes the inside line. Deep around the outside goes Oz Formula. And that's a move for position to P7. A good move. A good battle there between the Red Bull and Ferrari drivers as that laggy person in the zombie pit now. That puts Master Berserk in the lead on hards. That can take it to the end of the race. I don't see a situation where he doesn't have to pit again as that laggy person comes out. Just behind us, Formula on fresh softs. So he'll be looking to make the move past quickly. He has 27 seconds. I repeat, 27 seconds to try and make up on Master Berserk. A little bit closer to the front. And a driver to watch out for at the late stages of the race. 9 laps to go. Fresh softs from Zach. 17 seconds to close the gap. 1 driver in between. It's possible. He might be able to do it. This is going to get real interesting right towards the end. We go back on board with that laggy person as he's presumably, and I am correct, trying to get past Oz Formula. We'll see. The softs give him a really good run at the corner. Oz Formula might not be able to put much of a fight up here, as it's going to be textbook around the outside through the DRS zone and into position. Next up is Penske, that laggy person looking for a top 4, potentially a top 3 result here. This is really strong for the start of the season. DRS open for that laggy person. He looks for a move on Penske. Penske's going to hold it around the outside, it looks like. Not getting some very good camera angles there. DRS still for that laggy person, so not much of an opportunity for Penske to fight back, and he's not really going to try to. Penske, who started P2 in this race, and had a really good start against Master Berserk. He's not nowhere, but he's not really where you would expect him to be. Oz Formula just behind Penske in P6. A driver who had the opposite of Penske, had a dismal place to start compared to where he qualified after these two came together in qualifying. So will we see some tensions on the track? DRS then for Oz Formula, but he doesn't have much ERS right now saved up. Oh, and a half spin! Can he hold it? He's held it together, Oz Formula. He's managed to keep it together. Hasn't lost too much time. He's held it within DRS at Penske. Those tires have to be aching. How long's he been on them for? It's a yellow flag, sector 2. Looks like a half spin. Nothing too much to worry about. Oz Formula is on 2 lap older tires than Penske. These hards that shouldn't make too much of a difference. So we'll see what we can do here. Oz Formula continues to close up. This is the battle for P5 if you're just joining us. Laggy person, couple seconds up the road. He's going to be trying to close in 5 seconds to Wilberforce for P3. 6 laps, 7 laps to go. This is getting real interesting. Currently on track, your battles are for P5 between Oz Formula and Penske. And for P9 between Jordy and Jamie. Another one to keep an eye on. We'll keep in the back burner as Zombies got him past Palms and so someone else. What's happened here? So, what seems to be a half spin of some sort. He's still slow. Safety car! Where? What's happened? I'm gonna take a stroll through the field, see if we can't figure out what's happened here. Someone got a puncture? I don't think anyone's really crashed. I'm not sure what's happened here, but we have a second safety car then. Master Berserk. He will be kicking and screaming right now. This is not what he wanted. Having built up through strong strategy this race, a 15-second gap over Zach, we're about to see that plummet back down. His one saving grace is that now he can take the opportunity to put the softs on and fight mano a mano with the rest of the field. Take it to the last lap. Lap 23. We're on lap 25 is likely when we'll restart. Master Berserk, I imagine, will be coming into the pits this lap. In fact, we can have a look at the telemetry and see if he is. Doesn't say right now, but I'd be surprised if he didn't, as in he comes. No, pardon me, one-lapped car right now. Mitcho, the McLaren's not having a good day today. JB High and Mitcho are right at the back of the pack. But we've seen these safety cars before. They tend to cause a lot of chaos. We'll be on essentially a 3-lap dash here. As he comes out, that laggy person gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. And we see Berserk then come up to the safety car, which starts to drive out. Berserk is on fresh softs. Behind him comes out Zach. P2 will be on the softs. Wilbur, he's on... How old are these softs? 24-lap-old softs. That's not right. He's made 2 stops. I'm not sure how old these softs are, but a driver to watch out. He's come through some form of luck. He's inherited P3. Oz Formula back on a fresh set of softs, as is, I imagine, everyone else on the field. The only driver who hasn't come in for softs is the AI driver for RBR right now. Everyone else, you'd be a Ferrari strategist if you didn't come in for softs. So then, everything we've seen up to this point. The virtual safety car, first safety car. The battle's on track. It all comes down to this. What will essentially be a 4-lap sprint race to the end. You see Geordie now in the Renault forming up behind the drivers ahead. We'll see if the safety car comes in this lap. This is gonna get interesting. We see some weaving up ahead. Drivers starting to try and get temperature into their tires. Alright. So then, the one driver out of position, I would say, compared to where they qualified. In fact, let's see the position changes. Wilbur up 9 positions from where he qualified. If he can hold on to where he is right now, that's a very opportunistic P3 right now, that he can start with a podium. Drivers contending for a spot on the podium. That laggy person, having mostly a quiet race, taking advantage of opportunities that present themselves. I say he's a good bet for a podium. Penske, front row sitter, safety car in his side. Penske, your P2 sitter. Had a mixed bag today. Him and this man, Oz Formula, will be having a few things to say to each other, I imagine. They've been battling hard. Either one of these could push forward as well. That's not to say anyone can't. A lot of drivers have a chance here at that podium. Getting ready for the restart. We're going to go on board with Master Berserk, who will be looking to get that perfect jump for what will be an exciting final stint. Coming through the penultimate corner. A good jump there. He backs up a little bit on the McLaren driver Mitcho. And we're going to be on board with Zach, as right away he wants to try and get past Mitcho. The lap driver, blue flags, going wild. Get the heck out of the way is what they're all thinking. Wilbur comes right through. Of course he's lapped. Zach loses a little bit of time. Berserk's already gone. Wilbur is going to be looking for an opportunity here around the outside. Can he do it? Door closed a little bit by Zach, looking for a switchback. Still opportunities presenting themselves. Laggy person behind is looking at this thinking, yes, come on, battle. Give me a chance to get past. This is what I want. So far, so good. Oz Formula looking for a move around the outside of Penske then. Can we get a good angle, please? Just breezed past by Oz Formula. This man here can try and go for the podium, as already he's on the back of that laggy person, looking for a good run out of this corner. And he gets it! Into P4 goes Oz Formula already! 2 positions off the restart. Looking for the podium. 1 second to close up on Wilbur. Can he take a podium? Can he redeem the penalty that he got in qualifying for collisions with Penske? Sector 3, yellow flag. Doesn't look like too much right now. We'll go back if it is. 9/10 separate Oz Formula from a podium in what would be an amazing start to a season. Penske has slipped down the order to P7. Wilbur, the surprise. I believe qualifying outside of the top 10, in a position to take a podium on the first race of the season. This could bode well for him. Penalties also will play a factor. We'll see exactly where people stand afterwards. On board with Oz Formula. Half a second to close on Wilbur. He's going to have DRS next lap. 2 laps to get the move done. He could fight the P2 here as well. Wilbur needs to push now. He needs to push this and next lap. The one thing he does not want to happen is to fall out of DRS range, which has already happened. So he needs to try and close up by a second, or at least a tenth or two, on the driver ahead. Struggling a bit on the soft tires. He does have all the softs compared to the field around him. Oz Formula right on the back of Wilbur. DRS will be enabled this lap, and it has been. Berserk already with a 2.8 second lead on Zach. This is just a control class from pole. Initial issues, slip back to P3, reclaim the lead. At one point had a 17-second gap. Berserk is making a claim on the season so far, but it's this man up ahead, Wilberforce 24, who is under pressure in that Renault to try and hold on to P3. A move up the inside by Oz Formula is a possibility. He takes the inside line. Wilbur defends well there. Laggy person closing up all the meantime behind. Formula getting under more and more pressure to try and make the pass happen. 4 tenths, 3 tenths. Closing up 1 tenth now behind is Oz Formula. Oh, and crucially there, a 3-second time penalty for Oz Formula. Could see how will that affect the race at the end. A move to the outside. He needs to get past Wilbur as soon as possible now. He gets a switch back. Too wide into the third to last corner. Through the inside. A good move there. Oh, the Renault driver holding inside. There's contact. Pushed out of the track is Wilbur. Oz saying no more of that. I want past now. Wilbur will not be happy with that and will presumably come back in this first DRS zone of the lap. But no, he doesn't have DRS. The driver behind does. That laggy person, can he make a move? Not quite. We're on the final lap now. Master Berserk 3.5 seconds out ahead of the leader of the second place sitter, Zach. Third place, this is your battle for third. Jamie slipping down the order right now. And Mitchell retires in the pits. Oz Formula pulling away. He likely needs a decent gap here to try and hold on to that position. We'll see where everything slots in with penalties, but this has been a crazy last lap so far. Laggy Person has one more chance to try and make it past Wilbur. But it's this man. It's this legend. Master Berserk. In the Racing Point. Taking a commanding win in the first race. That Racing Point has served him well as he crosses the final corner of the lap. Master Berserk is your 2020 RSF1 Season 3 Australian Grand Prix winner. What a race. What a race. Penalties there. Oz Formula promoted to P2 after penalties. Geordie promoted to Penske P2 after penalties. Oz Formula, that penalty at the end, pushes him off the podium. An interesting podium to say the least at the end. Penske then, having kept it clean throughout the race. Kart racer, according to the game, driver of the day. Penske having kept it clean throughout the race. Surprisingly, manages P2 based off of penalties. Master Berserk, your winner for today. And in P3, Geordie. Surprising results here. But a strong race and an interesting race to say the least for round one. If this is how the rest of the season is, suffice it to say, you can be excited. So your results then for today. Master Berserk with P1 2 6-second time penalties. Penske keeping it clean, no penalties for him today. P2. Geordie, P3. Rounding off your podium. Oz Formula 2 3-second penalties. That really hampered his game and his race at the end of the day. Promoted him off the podium. P3. Zach, P5. Sorry, Oz Formula, P4. Palms for the win, P6. Kart Racer, P7. That Laggy Person demoted to P8 after 3 second penalties. 3-second time penalties. Savory Mince Pie holds on to P9 with 0 penalties. Zombie Hunter, P10. Brazuka, P11. Is that Matt, P12. Wilberforce, P13. Jamie, P14. RBR, P15. JB High, P16. Mitch O, your first retirement for today. Mason, your second retirement. Orphan Drop, your third retirement. And Young Gun, your fourth retirement. Well then. An interesting race then. We'll see if we can get some drivers in. I think we do interviews afterwards. Not too sure. There's one part that I'm not too clear on. Well, look, if we do interviews, we'll do it next week. If it's not something that we do, then I don't feel too bad about it. Well, thank you anyway for an amazing time today. We're gonna go back to our intro scene quickly. A strong race then. 2 safety cars, 1 virtual safety car at the end. Sorry, 1 virtual safety car to start, 2 safety cars, 1 safety car at the end. Surprising race. Master Berserk, your championship leader, out of round 1. What an amazing race overall. It's been exciting. It's been amazing.
Slightly Alpha, so it's for Red Bull. Strauss loses 2 positions and Todd will go.
Well, thank you so much for coming out and watching today's race here at RSF1 in Australia. I've been your lead commentator for today, Cian the Butler, Mr. Serving Man, and we can't wait for you to rejoin us next week for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Once again, I've been Cian the Butler. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for spending time here at RSF1. Have a